Hi, I'm Auntie Tam, and welcome to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. If you've already been here, welcome back. It's great to be able to share this with you. Whether you're new or established, great, I'm happy. And normally I cover topics like mental health awareness, life advice, and life skills. And one of those life skills aspects is the idea of how to adult. Now, I don't have all the answers. You're welcome to ask me questions about what you would like me to see cover in the How to Adult series. And you can put that in your comment below. Contact me, let me know what you would like to see, and we'll find a way to put it up. So, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy today's video. Hi, and I'm Auntie Tam, and today's How to Adult has been suggested by Michelle. And her suggestion was, can we look at remote working? Some advice for remote working. I've been remote working now for about 2 months only, but before that, I had on and off remote working, some hybrid working. And I think remote working has become really, really popular since the beginning of the pandemic because a lot of people weren't able to get into the office. So a lot of people had to start working from home. And I think that this entire mindset, sorry, excuse the dogs, this entire way of working has become revolutionary because we have far more people wanting that option, wanting to work from home, or companies that have decided to keep that hybrid or remote working system in place because it works for them. And some people are of the opinion that hybrid working and remote working actually makes people more productive. Um, there are a few tricks that and a few things you need to watch out for because remote working is not as easy as you may think. Right now, let's begin with the downsides of remote working. You don't get to have those, water bottle at the water cooler conversations with your colleagues. You don't get to interact with people. Usually it's just you at your home. So it can get pretty lonely unless you have a Zoom meeting, and everyone loves those. And so it can get pretty lonely, especially if your partner is working out of the house and not in the house. And you've just got, for me, in my case, when I'm working from home, I've got the cats and dogs, which is great. I love them. And I can get up and go and get a coffee whenever I want from the kitchen. But the downside is also that I can be a bit lazy. It's difficult to motivate yourself to work when you're working from home. At least this has been my experience. It's difficult to get up and go because you're not actually getting into your car, getting into traffic, driving to an office, working at the office for 6, 8 hours a day, get back into your car, drive home. Now, the bonus points is that you don't have to spend hours and hours in traffic. You don't have to go and sit in an office in a building and then get back into your car. So that is a plus. You can also get up from your own bed, go into your own space, work, and then be surrounded by things that are familiar, your cats, your dogs. The other thing that's a downside is that there is a temptation also to overwork. So if you know that you've got your office at the home, you may actually be working overtime or working more than you normally would if you were in the office, and that could place more stress on you. Um, Having your office at home is also stressful because you've got to provide all the equipment yourself. You've got to provide your laptop or your computer, your printer, your scanner, your desk, your chair. Um, that is, if you don't get a sort of stipend or an allowance from your office to do that. And I haven't yet met somebody who has an office who does that. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Please tell me if your company does provide for that, because essentially you're paying for your own internet, you're paying for the upkeep of your own laptop, your own electricity that you're using, um, your own desk, your own chair. So you're actually not being compensated for using your space, your electronics, and your airtime, or your electricity and your Wi-Fi. Um, so that can be a thing. And also, if you're working exclusively remotely, there may be a reduction in your salary. So that's also not so great. But you know, um, you also may not be spending so much money on petrol. And these days, we know that if to fill your tank, you've got to be rich. Thank you, Vladimir Putin. So, so there are all these elements involved with remote working. So getting up and going into another part of your house to work, you don't get to see people. You don't really get to go out unless you're going to meet clients, or you are going to meet, if you're in a hybrid situation where you go a certain amount of days into the office. So you are not actually having that human contact. Now, personally, for me, I'm actually quite okay with having very limited in-person one-to-one contact because I am an extroverted introvert. So I prefer to really be on my own and work on my own. My problem is to get motivated um, to actually do the work, to turn up, sit at the desk, do the job. And one of the reasons for me specifically, and you'll see a picture in a second, well, a little bit later, you'll see my workspace is not really ideal for home working. And so we'll get on to that. We'll get on to what needs to be ideal. So that's your little introduction. I would also remember to like and subscribe. Oh my word! Like and subscribe if you want more of this kind of content. Please feel free to donate to my Patreon or buy me a coffee so that I can carry on creating this content for you. I also would like to buy upgrade my equipment, get a proper microphone, get one of those circle light thingies, because I want to make my videos better and I want to make them better for you. So with that in mind, let's get started on what you can do to make the best out of remote working for you. Okay, so what I'm going to share with you today is actually going to be based on my own personal routine. You may want to do something different, but these are just an idea, these suggestions. Okay, so set your alarm for the normal time of getting up. Don't just wake up randomly at 10 o'clock in the morning and then you're all frazzled and you don't know, I'm going to run out of time or whatever. Then you're under stress. So what I do is I wake up at 7:30 in the morning. I set my alarm, get up at 7:30. I do my morning routine. My personal morning routine, um, I make up the bed first and foremost. Make up the bed. I get myself some coffee. I listen to my affirmations. I meditate. I do some exercise. Um, and then I change out of my pajamas. Important thing to do if you're working from home. Don't work in your pajamas. And I'll tell you why. When you're sitting here in your pajamas, what you're doing, what you're doing is you're telling your brain we're relaxing, we're getting ready for bed. If you change into your work clothes, you are actually giving your brain a trigger that yes, now we are actually in a work state. Now I'm not saying you have to put on a tie and wear a suit or anything. I'm saying get dressed out of your pajamas.
Okay, so you don't have to get 100% suited and booted for this. Um, as you can see, I'm wearing comfy pants, I'm wearing trainers or tackies or sneakers because I still want to be comfortable. But I'm wearing something that I would wear, at least top-wise, to work.
Now, once you're out of your pajamas, you can carry on with your morning routine. What mine consists of is coming to my little desk, sitting down and checking all the emails that have come in, having a look at any notifications, anything I need to respond to, checking my WhatsApps, seeing if there's anything that's come in from the people I'm helping out, and seeing what it is that I need to do for the day. And what I also do, and I'm going to show you an example, um, I spend a little bit of time um, preparing my day. I take about a half an hour of my morning and I will create a to do list in a little book um, so that I've got an idea of what's going on. Now, I'm old school, so I use a notebook. You are more than welcome to set reminders or tasks on your Outlook or your calendar so that you've got an idea of what needs to happen. So I also plan in advance if I know that a certain thing needs to be done by a certain date or this social media needs to go up on a certain day. I make a note of that so that I'm aware of what I need to prepare and I'm aware of when I need to schedule stuff for so that I've got that. So planning is really, really important. Breakfast, also important. What's also a good thing for you is to create a space where you can work. A space that is not in your bedroom, because leave your bedroom for sleeping. Your bedroom is for sleeping and making love. It's not for work. But I understand that some people have constrained space. So if you don't have space in the rest of the home where you're living or you're living in a room, create a designated space only for work. That's not where you go to chill. That's not where you go to rest. That's not where you make love. Well, you could be. I mean, if you're into that. And that's the space that is completely designated for where you are going to work. Set it up as you would for your needs. Um, you're going to see a picture now of my desk, which is actually quite sad because I work in the lounge and I don't actually have a proper desk. I don't have a proper chair. That's coming. That'll come. But this is how I work. In contrast, this is my wife's desk. Still, it's important to have that designated space because that is where you go, that is where the work happens, that is where your mind goes into work mode, workspace. And when I work, I listen to music. I normally wear headphones and I listen to a selection of music from Spotify. You can do that as well if that floats your boat. If you like silence and you like working in silence, then you're more than welcome to. One of the other things that I would recommend that you do is to actually take breaks. Um, according to my optometrist, you need to look up from your computer screen every 20 minutes for at least 5 minutes to refocus on something distant. So where I am sitting, I've got a view of the garden, and I do that. I would look out into the garden and then come back to the screen. Then, like according to, South African labor law, I'm not sure if you're watching from another country, and this may not apply depending on what your labor law says, but according to South African labor law, you need to have one lunch break of at least 45 minutes per day, and then two at least 15 minutes breaks for coffee or tea. So take those. Really, take those. 11 o'clock, get up, go make yourself a cup of coffee. You can stretch. You can do a little bit of a short yoga routine. You can drink a glass of water because it's important that you stay hydrated while you're working. Drink a glass of water, stretch, do something in those breaks that will help remove you from the whole workspace. When you're taking your lunch, take your lunch away from the screen. Take your lunch away from your desk. Sit somewhere that is not around your workspace because it's really healthy to get a break from where you are, from where the space is that you are filling. And then around 3 o'clock or 2:30, you can take another tea break in accordance with the law. Because regular breaks make you more productive. Take a walk outside, go for a walk around the block, play with your dogs and cats, but do something that is away from the desk that's got nothing to do with work so that you can actually recalibrate. And when you come back to the desk, you're fresher. Don't let emails take over your life while you're working, because the tendency would be to continually keep checking emails. I mean, we often in a regular office, you regularly refresh the emails because you get bored, or you might YouTube, or you might spend time on social media. It's easy to let those things get out of hand when you're working from home. From my own experience, I can tell you this. It's easy to, you know what, I'll just check Facebook, and then 2 hours later you go, shit, right? So try not to spend too much time on social media. Cut that back. Cut back on your friendly WhatsApps and the procrastination if you can. If you're like me and you procrastinate forever, challenge. But if you can cut back on that procrastination, you are actually saving yourself a lot of heartache down the line, because working under extreme pressure to get to a deadline and that's only a couple of hours away is not helpful at all. The other thing that you can do is that you can, if you want to get away from your home, if you want to interact with other people, if you want to be in a different space, and you can afford to do this, go and work in a co-working space. Even if it's not every single day, but a couple of days a week, try to get into a co-working space. Now, a co-working space is sort of like a neutral kind of office space where you've got a lot of different people doing their own thing, and they hire a desk, basically, or a space to do their work. So you can be sitting next to a lawyer while you're doing social media, and the person next to you there could be a PR person, or whatever it is, or a IT person. But then you also have the benefit of interacting with other people if that's your vibe. One of the things I would also just suggest is to socialize when you can outside of working hours, so that you've got that human contact, you've got that personal interaction, because it can be so isolating working remotely, working from home, and you don't see anybody. You wake up in the morning, it's just you, your partner comes home, and then you see them, and that's the only person you probably see for a week. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but you can do things to be around other people, like the co-working space, or even designate some time in the middle of the week, say a Wednesday, where you will actually go out for a coffee in a coffee shop during your lunch break, if you can afford to do that, or contact a friend, so that you don't become so isolated, because like I say, it's incredibly isolating to be working from home. It sounds like it's a wonderful thing. It sounds like it's a wonderful way to work, and it is. Let me tell you now, it is. It really is a wonderful way to work. But there are drawbacks, and one of the drawbacks is that you do get to feel lonely. you do get to feel like you don't have anybody to talk to. So you can also find yourself a network of other people who are working remotely. Maybe some of your friends work remotely, and then you can check in with each other as well, and have a coffee once a week. Maybe on a Friday afternoon, you can go for a drink, just so that you've got that personal one-to-one contact. Now, I hope that all of this has been helpful and of value to you. If you really like these things and you want to see more of this kind of content, please like, subscribe, click the bell so that you can get notifications when new videos drop, and support my Patreon and my Buy Me a Coffee. And please, if you have any suggestions, any ideas, anything that you would like me to cover, if I don't have the answer directly, I will find it for you. So please put that in the comments and let's get working. I'd love to hear what you have to say.